Thomas Was Alone is a puzzle platformer developed and published by Mike Bethel and was released on June 30th of 2012. In the game, the player controls one of many different rectangular AI that have seemed to break out of their code, or life if you will. The actual shapes never talk or make any noises, but the game is narrated by Danny Wallace, who plays Sean Hastings in the Assassin's Creed series, and he won a BAFTA Game Award for this performance here. The shapes, their thoughts, emotions, quarrels, and problems are all expressed through the narrator as you solve puzzles to make it to the end of each level. Each shape has their own unique ability they are good at that helps them make it to their end point.
Thomas was alone. Wow, a weird first thought to have.
Getting through a level is pretty simple at first, but other factors quickly take a role into completing the game. At some points you can control multiple shapes that you need to switch between to make it past an obstacle. Some shapes can float, some are small enough to make it through tight spaces. Sometimes you may need to create a set of stairs with some shapes for another shape to climb up, or a shape may need to be a bridge across a gap for others. Each shape must be at their designated exit that they fit in to complete the level. The actual gameplay is really simple and fun, and the pacing helps make the journey more enjoyable. You always want to see what's next and how these 2D shapes will make it past their next dilemma. Even though you are just playing as these shapes in Thomas Was Alone, the game gets pretty inspirational and endearing. The narrator does an amazing job at expressing the emotions of the characters and conveys believable and sometimes intense and passionate reactions. The game's larger concepts and metaphors of modernism versus minimalism, community work, infrastructure, life and death, and many others are delivered beautifully with how carefully the music, story, narration, and gameplay are intertwined. Thomas Was Alone is simply a unique, one-of-a-kind, beautifully crafted game that you hardly ever come across. I give Thomas Was Alone a 10 out of 10. Bert Rebooted is an arcade game developed and published by Sideline Amusements and Gonzo Games and was released on July 8th of 2014. Rebooted is the fifth main game in the Bert series and the first main game released since Bert 1999. The last Bert game to be released was just an updated version of the original for iOS in 2019. Rebooted includes the original Bert arcade game as well as a reimagining of the classic. Rebooted introduces new ways to play the isometric style of game by adding new power-ups, enemies, characters, challenges, and more. Rebooted is more of a modern take of the original Bert. Bert has to jump around the stage and overtake the different cubes of the level to complete it. Diagonally hopping from cube to cube proves to be difficult when different enemies and stage layouts interrupt the flow, and it's up to you to carve out a path to victory. You can collect gems in the regular and bonus levels, and you can use them to unlock more characters to play as, like QT and Zombert. The game is pretty easy at first, but you have to master it to get enough stars to unlock later levels. You get 1 star for beating a level, and the other 2 stars are earned based on your time and points. The game can be rather tricky with how the controls work and how the levels are constructed. New levels are placed in a variety of patterns, and sometimes you may have to hit a block multiple times to change the color. At points, enemies and other things can change the color when they land on the blocks, reversing progress and providing a strategic challenge for you as the player. A lot of the time though, it feels as if completing levels is purely based on luck, depending on factors like where you go and the enemies go, and if the controls want to obey and not throw you off the stage by accident. Q*bert still proves to be fun if you like puzzle games, but with only a couple repeating musical tracks, uninvolving luck-based gameplay, and little reward, it's hard to recommend. If the mere structure of the game gets annoying and you stop playing, it's hard to find a reason to come back. I give Q*bert Rebooted a 4.5 out of 10. Spy Chameleon is an arcade game developed and published by Unfinished Pixel and Enjoy Up Games, and was released on July 11th of 2014. Spy Chameleon sees you playing as a chameleon who has to make it through levels without being seen. Cameras, other animals, and lasers lie in your path, and you have to figure out a way around them. The chameleon can change colors to blend in with its environments. Each level has different challenges, like collecting all the flies in a level or completing a level within a certain time frame. Pattern recognition and quick reactions is the name of the game here in Spy Chameleon. Getting caught and going back to a checkpoint only helps you learn how to complete your objectives even more efficiently. The quick and snappy gameplay becomes addicting really fast as the game eases its mechanics onto you. Barely slipping past the camera's view or going out of your way to figure out an unintended path feels rewarding. Completing all of the levels in the mission plays out a little mean, and while somewhat entertaining, may be a bit cringy nowadays. Spy Chameleon is a fun arcade-styled game with plenty of challenge and rewarding gameplay. The extra challenges in each level and a hard mode gives you even more hours of gameplay. The levels being short adds to the instant gratification you get and makes you want to play the next one, creating an addicting gameplay loop that'll have you coming back for more. Like a lot of arcade-like games, luck can play a lot into certain areas in the levels, which can cause rage quits. It's also one of those games where once you got your fix, you know when you are done with the game because of the simplicity and the repeated style of gameplay. Some odd placement of old internet memes can be embarrassing, but if you like simple strategy, check out Spy Chameleon. I give Spy Chameleon a 6 out of 10.